So every so often we get an opportunity to do just a little harvest, just one for Debbie and I. And I always think these are the nicest ones to film because I haven't got so much to do, and it's more kind of representative of what a typical harvest would be for a normal family, rather than the sort of massive harvest that we've been doing for all of our lockdown friends and family. So yeah, I'll show you what we're up to. I absolutely love harvesting carrots, almost as much as I like harvesting potatoes, and I just love picking them straight out of the ground like this. They're just so gorgeous. And most of these we're actually picking just for our salad mix, so really lovely. We've got lots of really lovely sprouts as well at the moment, and so we're stocking up on these. Quite hard to get off actually. And the sprout tops are a particular treat, and we've got so many sprout tops, but we also pick these leaves. I mean, these are just gorgeous just on their own, and of course we've got loads and loads of these lovely sprout leaves, but the sprout tops themselves are an extra special treat at this time of year. You know that I'm always going on about colettes, which are one of my favourites, and this is why. Just these absolutely lovely little bunches of kale, and even, you know, after you pick them, if you're lucky, you'll get a second harvest off these. These are a bit further on than we've normally had them at this time of year, but all these little points here potentially will grow into more colettes later on in the season. So I love these. This year we grew these leeks just in gaps in the brassica bed, and we actually had calabrese in this space here, and they got a bit like knocked about and pushed over by all the brassicas kind of crowding them out. But now that the brassicas have gone, yeah, the calabrese has gone, they've all straightened up really nicely, and we don't bother with like this all, you know, planting them down really deep, and that just makes it really easy to harvest. And although the stems are a bit greener, you know, you can't complain about that. We haven't got any cabbages now, or red cabbages left, but we've got these little babies that are just growing on the stems. We don't bother cutting the stems. You know, some people cut the stems and put a cross in them, but as you can see here, there's absolutely no reason to do that. They grow just fine off the stems without damaging them. The thing is, if you cut them, you're more likely to get rot there. These are the tops of the colette plants, and there's plenty of really good eating in these leaves as well. So you just break these off just like you would a sprout leaf. We like them steamed. It's going to be quite tough to break off though. Lovely. And we don't have a huge amount of purple sprouting broccoli at this time of year, obviously, because it's a bit early for it, but yeah, these are still nice. This is early purple, and as I said, you know, the yield isn't amazing, but it's still really nice to have. Although, as I said, we haven't got that much purple sprouting broccoli. We've actually got quite a lot of this Romanesco cauliflower, and that makes it quite a nice alternative. And it is, of course, kale season, so we've got plenty of kale all over the place. I'll just pick a few of these, and into this kale bed I interplanted these turnips, so I'm going to pick a few of those as well, and I'm just picking the biggest ones and leaving the littlies to grow on. Curled baby kale leaves. We've obviously got lots of green tomatoes left on the outdoor plants, and they're looking a bit awful at the moment, but we've still got a reasonable crop, and they should ripen up just fine. And we've got these lovely little calabrese heads. Don't really want to leave those much longer. And the polytunnel salad beds and spinach beds are almost ready, but I'm going to leave those, I think, because we've got loads outside in the cold frames. I'm just going to pick a few beans and tomatoes, not many left of those, just enough to make it worthwhile harvesting. And And now I'm on to some of the leafy greens. And this spinach looks absolutely lush. Really gorgeous. I don't want to overpick this because this is the first harvest off this bed, but I do want to take the bigger leaves that I can find. I'll just pick a couple of boxes. The outdoor beds are almost finished now. We've got some that are still growing, but the rate of growth has slowed no end. So it's nice that we've got these undercover beds just starting to come on stream. And sometime this month we're moving this chard bed undercover, and so we're kind of trying to keep it well picked because we want the plants quite small. Although, you know, to be honest, the quality of this is not really that fantastic. You get too much damp really, so maybe it should have gone undercover a little bit earlier. But anyway, it is what it is. Unfortunately, we do have this last little New Zealand spinach bed which is still clinging on to life. So there's quite a nice harvest actually on here. The last of the stir-fry greens, pak choi and tatsoi. Might put a bit of salad rocket in there as well. Maybe even a bit of herbostella. Of course, the real star of the show at this time of year are the salad beds. These are all interplanted with spring onions. Right now, we unfortunately don't have any spring onions that are quite ready for harvest. Just a few weeks away. And then from the store, perhaps we'll take one of these little squashes. So this is what we've ended up with. And we like to pack into these containers. We're always getting questions about these. These we get from Home Bargains. They're £1. They've lasted us for at least 4 years. Been used hundreds of times. Still in great condition. And we use these partly because they seal airtight, so things store really well in them, but also just to reduce the waste. Otherwise we'd be getting through hundreds and hundreds of bags a week, and obviously we don't want to do that. So with the salad mixes, we give them a good spin in an ordinary kitchen spinner, so that the leaves, by the time we close up the lids, are damp but not wet, and as a result of that they just keep incredibly well. We'll still be eating these and they'll just be fresh, as good as freshly picked after 7 days. So yeah, so they're the salads. Then we've got some little calabrese here, loads of lovely brassicas. So we've got Romanesco cauliflowers, sprouts, colettes, colette leaves. Aren't those gorgeous, those colette leaves? Absolutely love those. We've got chard, stir-fry mix, that's herbostella and pak choi and tatsoi. Smoothie mix, carrot tops, kale, beet leaves, spinach, apples, all sorts of stuff. Purple sprouting broccoli, cabbage leaves, kale leaves. We like to do these little bouquets for people with fresh herbs from the garden. Got a few nice little red onions, some leeks, first pick of the spinach for winter, some onions and shallots from the store, some garlic from the store, some New Zealand spinach, that's probably the last pick of the New Zealand spinach, another mixed box of brassicas. And then Debbie really likes to dry her own herbs now. So we've got parsley, mint, wormwood, thyme, bay leaves, all sorts of stuff there. Dried pears, dried apples, radicchio, carrots, turnips, more carrots, baby new potatoes, main crop potatoes, red beets, golden beets, not quite the last pick of the tomatoes, but certainly almost the end of the tomatoes and the French beans. Winter apples, that's just this week's, we've got lots in store. Winter squashes, and probably the last pick of the outdoor tomatoes. And then in addition to the stuff in the freezer, we've got syrups, chili, ketchup, chutney, jams, loads and loads of passata mixes, and pickles. Those are pickled onions there. So that is a kind of typical mini version of our November harvest. And as I said, we're only harvesting for 5 people today. Normally we'll do about 20 people. So normally we have this table stacked double height, and we've got 2 other tables as well that we'll be packing onto on a normal day. So hope you like this quick video. Harvested in November, it's lovely. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.